That's crazy. No, we don't. Obviously, we're drunk and you guys don't want to deal with us. We don't have a boarding pass. The shit that we pull. Look at us. Look at us. No. Where's the phone?
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and today we are taking a look at how OF destroys women's lives. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's jump right into the video.
Blue gets arrested after looking for barely legal men in Indonesia. Blue, man, you look into the eyes of this woman and there's just something demonic going on here.
These two boys are about to take me to Paris. Yes, I'm pregnant, but hopefully I can give my baby a twin.
Is without much exaggeration the real-life version of a succubus. She seemingly made it her mission to seduce and bang as many men possible during her time here on planet Earth. She was a bizarre yet dismissible oddity at first, but over time her stunts have gotten downright disturbing and difficult to ignore for a variety of reasons.
It's actually almost impressive how Blue managed to disgust millions of people across the world.
I am going to do a world record of 1,000 men in 24 hours. This is what my face looks like after taking 1,000 men less than 12 hours ago.
What's the craziest thing you've done?
Slept with a father and son at the same time.
Guys, it's just incest. What's the big deal? Let a woman have her kinks. You guys already know she's a degenerate freak, but what about her getting locked up in jail? How did that happen? In the summer of 2025, Blue got banned from after announcing plans to get fucked inside of a glass box by 2,000 men in public. They banned her and then she moves to Fansly, subsequently announcing a new stunt.
You know that things are really depraved when OS swoops in to full-on ban your account.
She was going to go on a world tour making content, one that eventually finds her on the island of Bali in Southeast Asia. And for those of you who don't know, Bali is a province and subject of Indonesia. Indonesia being a country with extreme obscenity laws. You can face years of prison time if you're caught with, not to mention, making it. Let's just say Blue took Indonesia's dogmatic laws as a personal challenge. On arrival to Bali, announced she was looking for barely legal schoolies to bang. And for those of you who don't know, schoolies are Australian teenagers who just graduated high school and are celebrating by going on vacation.
This is what you get when you don't respect the laws of other nations. She deserves to be jailed.
Hey boys, those that are going to schoolies and to those that are barely legal, cannot wait to meet you. And I'm in Bali, so you know exactly what that means.
In early December of 2025, was seen in the Kuta and Legian area of Bali, riding around the resort island in a blue truck with giant text on it that spelled out Bang Bus. She was picking up barely legal men and they were just gonna, test out the new flavors of Bang Energy. Nah, she was actually just gonna have sex with them and film it, allegedly. Balinese investigators naturally suspected she was making some of her signature forbidden content in their country illegally. So they started following her movements, which led them to a full-blown content.
Publicly announcing your illegal depravity is a whole new level of stupidity. It's not surprising.
Studio. On December 4th, 2025, police raided a compound near the island's capital city of Denpasar. There they also found the Bang Bus and also seized a treasure trove of gooning paraphernalia, implicating the self-described slut in the crime. They found camera equipment, laptops, phones, hard drives, flash drives, contraceptives, lubricant, and 2 sheets of Viagra pills. I'm sure they were just filming a chemical reaction for a school science project.
Whoa! Check it out! It looks like the volcano erupted.
Even if this wasn't illegal, it's still incredibly disgusting how much equipment, quote-unquote, she had with her.
Upon uncovering the secret laboratory, Blue, along with 3 other men, 2 British guys and 2 Australians, would be detained. 16 other supposed witnesses, ranging from ages 19 to 40, were probed and questioned as well. They were probably just helping with the science project, Each witness denied any activity had occurred, claiming that they were taking part in a, quote, entertainment-themed reality show and that the scenes were, quote, playful and humorous, unquote. You can say that all right. According to the detectives, had a little bit of fun while detaining her, allegedly using her phone to go through her contacts and brag to people, calling them saying that they had caught Blue.
Videoing and then also FaceTiming their friends as well, just to say, oh my God, it's Blue, putting the camera.
Considering the source, it's safe to say that the police weren't bragging about arresting her. If anything, they probably weren't even happy about it.
In my face.
Despite being, infamous for being the chick that got dogged out by 1,000 dudes in one night, claimed that the jail that she was in was unsanitary.
Toilets without toilet paper. Hygiene was not a thing.
After around 30 hours of detainment, was finally released, though her Balinese hell only continued, as authorities had seized her passport, phone, and liquid cash pending investigation. She was essentially stranded and without passport. You could say that leaving the country for her would be barely legal.
A lot of Southeast Asian countries don't mess around when it comes to obscenity laws, and honestly, I do not blame them.
A truly bizarre video would be shared to the internet around this time, showing speaking to local press surrounded by officers. She's licking a lollipop suggestively the entire time and looks like she's about to suck the soul out of everyone in the room with a succubus siphon ability.
I can face any amount of men.
Okay, so you're ready to face the traffic allegation of traffic?
There's nothing I can't face, also.
Initially was reportedly facing up to 12 years in an Indonesian prison along with a $360,000 fine for producing. However, after further investigation of the evidence by police, they couldn't find any elements of supposed or any unlawful distribution. So if any recording happened, they didn't find any of it when they reviewed her drive.
It's awfully convenient how the police weren't able to find any evidence despite her depravity.
The only things the Balinese really had on and her staff at this point were 4 of them allegedly misusing their stay permits. Like a visa issue. In light of this, the judge over case chose to drop all charges related to due to insufficient evidence. However, was found guilty for a minor traffic offense and was ordered to pay a fine of 200,000 rupiahs, which is about $12 USD. Afterwards, her confiscated gooning equipment, school science project, was returned to, and, she was deported. Banned from visiting the country for a
You know that things are bad when your degeneracy is quite literally getting you banned from countries.
decade. For those of you holding on to any hope that didn't actually record a school science experiment, I'm sorry to share with you this interview statement that she later gave to The Hollywood Reporter. The interviewer asked this: "Was the reason they didn't find evidence because you hadn't started filming?" And replies with, quote, "I had finished filming that video, but there's a thing called the delete button, and it's quite handy when you need it to be," unquote. I rest my case. After her deportation and return to London, she was quick to remind everyone how much of a quirked up psycho she truly is, posting this insane and provocative video, bragging about how she's gonna get dick down outside of the Bali embassy in London.
Apparently, I disrespected the Bali culture, but that is nothing compared to the disrespect these boys are.
It's so strange that Blue is waging a vendetta against the entire country of Indonesia. Weird, but alright, I guess.
About to show me.
In response to threatening to nut on their flag, the Indonesian Foreign Ministry issued this statement, quote, "The red and white flag is a symbol of sovereignty, honor, and national identity that must be respected by everyone." Indonesian authorities would file a complaint to London police once the footage went viral, and on March 16, 2026, due to the publicity stunt, London authorities would charge with outraging public decency. The charge came via postal requisition, and she is to appear at the Westminster Magistrates Court on April 22nd of 2026. She faces up to 6 months in prison if convicted. "You are summoned to the Magistrates Court on multiple counts of felony gooning. How do you plead?"
6 months in prison for disrespecting an entire nation seems rather tame for what she's actually doing.
In response to this charge, Blue would tell a magazine, quote, "I'm feeling fine. I'm going to reveal and answer all of the questions regarding me being charged in my latest gangbang video. It will be a very explicit video. Anyone that's intrigued about my charges can have their questions answered while I'm doing what I do best." Yes, journalists, I'm afraid if you want updates on this case, you're gonna have to be balls deep inside of her as you perform the interview. Better invest in a pack of Trojans and some antibiotics if you want the scoop on this one.
It's all publicity for her, and what she's selling is so disgusting, nobody should actually buy it.
Only Bop duo gets thrown off plane for disgusting activity. Meet internet workers 34-year-old Sonia Blanchard and 31-year-old Jordan Lantry, better known by their industry names Sonia Mallory and Lacey Jane, respectively. Seemingly filled with more Botox than a Bogdanov twin, these two salacious social media starlets recently found themselves behind bars after an alcohol-inspired stunt went wrong at an airport. On January 9, 2026, these two were in the process of boarding a return flight from Miami, Florida. Reportedly, they were there celebrating Sonia's birthday, but despite the vacation being over, it appears the party was continuing all the way to the airline.
It's not surprising they were intoxicated for this. These creators are often inebriated more than not.
Gate for them. Allegedly, both women had been drinking and while boarding their flight were acting belligerent, recording and publishing to the internet videos of them twerking, attempting handstands, and riding luggage while in line for the flight. After twerking and releasing her foul seafood odor into the claustrophobic boarding tunnel, the bimbos then entered the plane and their bucking of any decency or courteous behavior continues. Upon entering the plane, Sonia and Jordan plop down in first-class seats that they were reportedly not assigned to. When confronted about this, the seat switchers got testy with airline staff, admitting they were drunk and reportedly refused to move.
The airline should have denied them boarding after the stunt they pulled in the terminal.
You have your boarding passes? That's crazy. No, we don't. Obviously, we're drunk and you guys don't want to deal with us. We don't have a boarding pass. The that we pull. Look at us. Look at us. No. Where's this one? Look at us.
I find it pretty hilarious that these women have the audacity to respond with, "That's crazy," when asked to show a boarding pass. When one of them is wearing a bright red sweatshirt that literally says psycho on it in fucking 100-point font, who's the crazy person here? Anyways, these two Botox-brained buffoons would linger on the plane for a bit longer until police finally stepped in, entering the plane and detaining
The police should have been involved in this way earlier, but it looks like it's better late than never, I guess.
them. In this recording, we hear Sonia complaining, and Jordan does what typically solves all of her problems. She opens up her legs.
I'm getting kicked out because I didn't sit in the right fucking seat. Oh my god.
Despite the woman spreading her legs multiple times, the two were still arrested. Both entrepreneurs would be charged with misdemeanor trespassing on property after warning, and were taken to the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center in Miami for booking. According to court records, the women posted their $500 bails on January 13th, and then later boarded another American Airlines
It makes sense why they were posing that way. They needed to pay for their bails somehow.
flight. Around this time, Lantry wrote on social media, quote, "At American Air forgave us because we're hot and know how to do the splits." Unsurprisingly, these ingrates have attempted to use the viral clips from the incident and their own mugshots to profit and funnel gooners into their paid pages. They've openly shared their mugshots online with captions like, "Guess what we did," and "Went on vacation and ended up on probation." A merch line has even been released. And fine, whatever, make your bag, but for the guys out there subscribing to this stuff, buddy, it's time to really think about where your life is at this moment. It's not too late to fix things. You're better than this, man. As far as I know, Sonia has pled not guilty. Jordan Lantry, it's the same story. And a fact which I'm sure both of these women find hilarious is that their next hearing date is on 4/20.
If all the simps stopped paying for this garbage, the industry would collapse overnight, by the way.
She busted it down in a middle school classroom. What this woman did, it wasn't considered illegal, but it was gross as hell to say the least. Back in 2022, Samantha Peer worked as an 8th grade science teacher at Thunderbolt Middle School in Lake Havasu, Arizona. If you take a look at this girl, honestly, you wouldn't expect much out of the ordinary here. But behind the scenes, she was secretly engaging in some shocking behavior at Thunderbolt Middle. In early summer of 2022, under the pseudonym Chloe Carter, Samantha made her debut to reportedly posting quirked up content to earn some supplementary income.
A woman who decides to create OF content has no business teaching in any school at all. That should honestly be illegal.
Some of you are like, come on, Wavy, teachers don't get paid shit, let the girl cook. Just wait. So, Chloe had a husband. His name was Dylan Pierre. He participated in this content with Samantha. He was also a teacher, an elementary school one at that. Okay, kind of weird for two children's teachers to make content together. Definitely sus, but maybe not a complete deal breaker. Well, the catch is that she allegedly made content at the fucking middle school with the husband. According to OnlyFans, Samantha heavily leaned into the female teacher king. In OnlyFans promotional post, she reportedly shared her staff photo from the school's yearbook and added the caption, "Who wants to be my next teacher's pet?" Which is really fucking disgusting. Like, what do we get?
Recording that kind of content in a children's classroom should absolutely be illegal.
Getting into here. And as I mentioned previously, Samantha allegedly used her classroom to film content, the exact nature of which has been described by reports as being extremely explicit pictures and videos. So now we move to her getting exposed for exposing herself online. Now, how exactly the cat got out of the bag is murky, but apparently other teachers were the first to find out about Samantha's degenerate side hustle, and whisperings of her spread around. Sadly, some of the middle school students would later discover the teacher's content as well.
That kind of content can have destructive consequences on the minds of her own students.
Which is quite a grotesque situation, and is exactly why you shouldn't do if you're an educator of children, by the way. Seems like a pretty serious conflict of interest if you ask my opinion. Action would come when on October 24th, 2022, a member of the local community spoke up and complained to the school board about Samantha's behavior. As a result, the educator would be placed on paid administrative leave and probation. However, when these punishments were issued, Samantha opted simply to resign, doing so on October 31st, 2022. The husband would also no longer be employed as a teacher as a result of these discoveries.
It's infuriating that she was given paid leave, but all she had to do was resign. No consequences at all, really, there, are there?
This story stayed on the down low for about a week, but it eventually started to get out of the local community. There was much misinformation initially, with some believing Samantha had filmed the content during school hours, but that wasn't the case. Like, it's still bad what she did, but thankfully it wasn't that bad. On November 7th, Thunderbolt Middle published this regarding the continued spread of the recently unemployed Samantha's material. Quote, "It has come to our attention that students have been airdropping explicit material. The images did not happen during the school day and the person depicted no longer works for LHUSD. Please remove all images from your child's phone and talk with them about the appropriate use of technology."
This is why OF creators need to be as far away from children as possible. This is absolutely disgusting.
Days later, a publication called the Arizona Family Article managed to interview a couple of parents who spoke on how Samantha's reckless venture had affected their kids. With one parent seemingly making reference to a desk that was used in the content and pointing out how that desk was used by a child that she knew, which sat in the desk on a regular school day, which is really disturbing to think about. Quote, "That was my friend's daughter's desk," said one mother. And she is mortified over the situation. Like, that's my desk. She has no care knowing students have seen her everything and on students' desks. Another parent says, quote, "I am absolutely outraged. Our kids shouldn't have been exposed to this."
That's the nature of the internet. Unfortunately, children have easy access to this garbage.
If it was just OnlyFans account, I wouldn't be as upset because that would 100% be on the kid's parents. But this was public and an easy Google search to find everything. The story completely exploded and Samantha really did look like, well, to put it lightly, a disgusting freak. I mean, I used to work in a hospital and never in my right mind would I ever think to record some kind of act in a professional public setting like that. Not to mention one where kids are going to be attending class the next morning. It's just totally unhinged. Samantha knew that she looked like a piece of shit and of course would chime in with her own side of the story.
Hello, my name is Samantha Pierre, or some of you might know me by my alias, Chloe Carter.
I was an employee at Thunderbolt for 5 years.
The woman would later publish a YouTube video, essentially whining about being broke, and makes attempts to shift blame to other educators at the school, alleging that the teachers were the cause of kids eventually discovering the content, claiming that they never would have found her stuff without the adults meddling into her extracurricular.
You can't keep something like an OF page a secret if you are working in a professional setting.
Affairs.
It wasn't until Sunday, November 6th, when I had not been a teacher for the school district for 6 days, that my social media used for advertising became viral. November 6th was the first day that previous students and community members began following my alias account. Other school teachers were notified of the site and they began to spread it amongst themselves. Those teachers also were telling students my anonymous name and showing them my page. This was also sent to the parents, and they decided to do the same thing as well. They were sharing my anonymous name and content page with their children and allowing them to comment and follow on my accounts, although they are specifically labeled as not safe.
In other words, she's not guilty for what she did, she's just angry that she's got caught.
For work.
Samantha also highlights that the leaking of her content and the humiliation associated with that ruined her life for the time, causing her to be harassed.
Parents are still allowing their students to follow, contact, harass, and intimidate me. These parents are posting my personal address online and threatening to show my underage children revenge. Community members are now going to public places, such as my gym, and threatening to cancel their membership because their children also go there. The gym owner chose to terminate my membership, although I had been a member for 4 years, because other juvenile members were harassing me by taking my picture and videotaping me while I was trying to work.
She was doing depraved things in a children's classroom. Of course, there would be outrage.
Out. Looking back at the situation, I wholly regret creating the video in the classroom after school hours. But I felt trapped in my financial situation, and I felt this was the only way that my family would be able to survive.
You what? All the excuse making and woe is meing and trying to rationalize the creation of this content within a school building at all is insane. You were leaning into the pervy teacher kink and leveraged your role as an educator in this weird fetishized way on using a facility meant for educating children as a venue for recording adult content. It's both morally and ethically reprehensible, and in my opinion, you deserved what happened to you. You got off.
It's insane how women like this immediately turn to spicy content the second times get difficult for them.
Easy here. Samantha would not only lose her job in teaching, but her side hustle as well. On November 13th, 2022, her account was deactivated, and she was reportedly blocked from making additional ones. Writing on social media, quote, "So it seems deactivated both accounts, and is blocking me from making accounts." Would respond, citing their terms of service, stating that extreme or criminal activity is forbidden on the platform, and that Samantha broke those guidelines by filming a video in a classroom. Quote, "Content creators can face penalties if public nudity is recorded in a country where it is illegal, and if it is in an area where the public is, quote, reasonably likely to see activities being performed," unquote. Basically, Samantha ended up losing both of her jobs.
She honestly deserved what happened to her account. Recording in a classroom like that is just unforgivable.
Though that wouldn't stop her from pursuing her work aspirations, as she subsequently opened up Fansly and Fanview accounts. Yeah, that's right. This weird lady hasn't seemed to learn much. I mean, this woman just seems so immature. Take a look at this post. It's just really freaky stuff. In February of 2023, Samantha would take to Twitter to vent about her frustrations against an individual who she claims supposedly exposed her back at the school, writing, quote, "In November, a family friend decided to expose my identity to the national news. This morning, I realized her husband and I work out at the same time in the morning. Karma is coming for you, fucking cunt. Exposed your identity? Like, what's the bigger issue here? I feel like you making content at a school is far worse. Like, you're no..."
She honestly thinks that what she did would have been acceptable if nobody knew about it. How crazy is that?
Victim. Many in the reply speculated that she planned on seducing the woman's husband, though Samantha shut down the idea, writing, quote, "I just don't understand how karma equates to me fucking another man. I've literally been having greats with the same man for a decade, and for all y'all that are ruining my surprise, my revenge was to buy her shitty food truck when she goes out of business. Soon, don't worry, and host a shooting party in the desert with it." Jesus Christ. Glad to see we've learned something here and matured after reckoning with a potentially life-ruining decision.
How exactly is doing this to an old food truck supposed to be karmic? I mean, that just makes no sense at all.
Pooping on floors and peeing on produce for money. When you need to make a quick buck on, why not appeal to the fetishes of online weirdos? 23-year-old Kelly Tedford of Keene, New Hampshire was once a shopper at Keene's local grocery, Monadnock Food Co. However, she was doing more than just browsing the veggies and produce, she was discharging on them. You see, Kelly had a bizarre side hustle on going by the name Kinky Kelly. The woman secretly documented herself urinating on food products within the store and in other retail locations.
Not only is this disgusting, it's also incredibly unsanitary and could get people actually rather sick.
Around town, placing this content behind a paywall. Freak gooners would subscribe to watch this sick kink content, and she made decent money in this way, charging people $15 a month to have unlimited access to her urination updates. Guys, why are we watching this stuff? Who hurt you? Kelly felt empowered and cute when she peed on fruits and vegetables. Her bio read, quote, submissive pixie, fetish kink friendly, extremes too. Tee-hee. Yo, what? Why did I just do that? Hell nah. It's said that Kelly would take personal requests from subscribers. Maybe they wanted to see her pee on a gourd or stick a cucumber up her ass. Who knows? Whatever the case, she'd do it, I've been.
It's safe to say that the internet has completely warped the minds of simps all over the globe at this point.
Told. Kelly's yellow-tinted exploits range beyond just the grocery store. She also is allegedly pissed in a Petco fish enclosure, so there's that to get disgusted and upset about as well. And look at the username of her account where she confessed to the peeing thing on the fish. Just Pee Princess, DMs open. Love that. Kelly allegedly engaged in this behavior for not months but multiple years, making it her full-time job. But we wouldn't be here if she didn't get caught. Back on February 10th, 2025, Kelly decided to record another video of her contaminating grocery surfaces and food with urine. But for reasons that I'm unsure of, it seems one of her gooner simps were unsatisfied with the quality of the content or something, because somebody reported it to the local authorities.
It's hilarious how she got caught simply because a perverted simp felt like he got ripped off. That's actually a crazy way to get caught.
Authorities in Keene. The police claim they received an anonymous report that Kelly had, quote, posted disturbing videos to an internet site. In their investigation, they found out who Kelly was and they correlated the store that she had peed at. Monadnock Food Co-op was notified that their shelves and items may have been drenched in her bodily fluids. On February 21st, 2025, Kelly was arrested and charged with felony criminal mischief. In the wake of her arrest, Monadnock Food Co. issued a recall of several organic foods they had sold, which reportedly had piss on them. Quinoa, cornmeal, polenta, coconut shreds, and raw walnuts, purchased between the dates of February 10th and the 15th of that year, were at risk. That's when the urine was unleashed.
Imagine being one of those customers who was part of that recall. That's a massive violation.
While thankfully no customers ended up consuming tampered goods, Kelly's alleged activity cost the store $1,500 in lost produce after they had to dispose of the, allegedly urine-soaked stuff. I want to make something clear here. Some initial reports claim that Kelly worked at the grocery store. That's not true. She just went there to make content, apparently. So what would become of the pisser after the arrest? Kelly Tedford was later released on a personal recognizance bail. By the time she had gotten out of jail, the story was blowing up online, and some would speak up claiming they were actually aware of her exploits before the arrest. You couldn't have said anything about this before, bruh? A Redditor would write, "Oh god, this woman? So I'm from New Hampshire and this is an incredibly strange crossover, but I can shed some light. Bad news is this is real. That right there is Kelly Tedford. Good news is she was already arrested and charged the other day, not for this, but for contaminating co-op produce with her piss. She does this for money at various locations on various objects. And she's been doing it for a long time, but finally got caught. Does not surprise me that she'd do this. But it's definitely disturbing since I used to be a CAL in the area. Would be fucking livid to learn she'd come into my store and done.
It takes a lot of apathy to only share this information on Reddit after the damage was already done.
This to my fish. People also found Kelly's old TikTok accounts and rated it. In the comments you can see they've dubbed her the grocery pisser. Unfortunately, as this investigation carried on, it turns out that she was defiling more than just groceries. In April of 2025, authorities allegedly uncovered video evidence of Kelly at a Marriott hotel in Keene from a stay back in January of that year. And while there, she allegedly filmed herself urinating on the hotel curtains, a Bible, a comforter, the air conditioner, and other items in the room. There's also allegations that she recorded herself defecating on the floor and placed the feces in the toilet's tank.
We already know that hotel rooms aren't exactly sanitary, and she just made it so much worse.
Yo, like, why is she doing a handicapped assist upper decker? What the fuck? The discovery of said acts resulted in 5 new counts of criminal mischief being added. When it came time to litigate this in court, Kelly's public defender made the argument that Kelly was just kinda fucked up in the head, but wasn't malicious, describing her as a, quote, vulnerable, traumatized young woman and not a malicious and dangerous person who is out to cause chaos and intending to harm people. I would describe urinating on produce, filming it, shitting on the floor, filming it for profit, no less, as pretty chaotic, but
It's crap like this that makes words like traumatized just become absolutely worthless, in my opinion.
Shut up, I guess. As like many of these somewhat petty court cases do, Kelly's would end in a plea agreement. Kinky Kelly Tedford would have her felony charges reduced to misdemeanors in exchange for a guilty plea to all 6 of them. And with that, she was sentenced to 360 days in jail, with 180 of those suspended for 3 years, along with 2 years of probation upon her release. Oh, and Kelly was ordered to pay $11,000 in restitution to the Monadnock Co-op and the Marriott Hotel that she affected. As a part of the sentencing agreement, Kelly faces additional jail time if she's caught participating in any of her old body fluid exploits. Guys, hide your produce in the meantime. You don't want to get Kelly excited. We need to help this girl stay.
That also seems like a rather tame punishment considering what she was doing to that food, by the way.
Out of jail. The saran wrap fetish death. Yeah, save this one for last. In 2023, 29-year-old Michaela Relarsdam was working as a worker and content creator, going by the name Ashley Sincal on. Though she wasn't totally reliant on, Michaela also had her own adult entertainment company, formed in part with her husband. That venture was Sincal Entertainment, a company billed as the #1 adult party entertainment service in California. So think like male or female strippers that you can hire to private events and stuff.
Society is in a bad shape when it's socially acceptable to have a billboard that advertises this crap.
Stuff like that. Oh, and another lane that Michaela dabbled in was escort services, and that's where the trouble begins. In March of 2023, a 56-year-old man named Michael Dale found an online listing for Michaela's escort services. What happens next isn't an immediate meetup, but is actually calls and texts exchanged between the two, wherein the guy is like simping and seemingly begging for her to do freaky shit to him. This goes on for about a month, with Michael making hardcore requests, specifically asking for BDSM activity done to him, allegedly telling her that he wanted to be wrapped up like a mummy. Specifically stating that he wanted to be wrapped in saran wrap and that he wanted a pair of women's boots gorilla glued to his feet.
What makes this worse is how this request is most likely tame by internet standards.
And well, it appears Michaela would take up Michael's request. In April of 2023, Michael invited Michaela to his home in Escondido, California, offering her more than $11,000 to do the aforementioned activities. Even if somebody was going to pay me right, I would be extremely skeptical to go over to some stranger's house and wrap them up like a mummy. Like, you know, what if something bad happened, like a death? And I'm sure maybe Michaela thought that. Michaela's husband, a man named Brandon, encouraged his wife to participate in this activity. So, she was like, well, if everybody's on board, I'm just going to go do it. According to police affidavits, on April 17, 2023, Michaela arrived at the man's residence at around 6 p.m., reportedly noting that he seemed intoxicated. Despite this, the two went ahead with their pre-described plan. A truly bizarre BDSM suffocation ritual would take place. According to a police affidavit, quote, Michael had duct tape over his mouth, a plastic bag over his head, more saran wrap around that, and then duct tape wrapped around his face and head, securing all the layers to his head. He also appeared to have saran wrapped around his neck.
How could she possibly not know that putting a plastic bag over a dude's head just isn't safe?
Tightly. Seemingly under the impression that this is what he wanted, Michaela allegedly filmed much of the requests made by Michael during their interactions, and she had planned to later upload this footage to him. While David was wrapped up, she was recording content near him, even performing an act on herself with a vibrator in one of the video clips. She was also sending texts and videos to her husband while it was going on.
They was sitting there topless, masturbating with a vibrator, lip syncing to the music, the pants down to Mr. Dale laying at her feet, motionless, still wrapped up the same exact way. Looked like she might have been resting her foot on it. Shows her face briefly, pans down, and shows Mr. Dale briefly laying motionless on the floor, and the majority of it is zoomed in on her crotch as she uses the vibrator.
I think at this point it's fair to say, whether intentional or not, what we have here is the creation of a snuff film, and it ended in deadly fashion.
The fact that she did all of that while he was on the floor means that she didn't actually care about his life, if we're being honest here.
At approximately 10:10 p.m., after 4 hours had passed, Michaela observed that Mr. Dale was in distress and unresponsive. Dale's roommates were notified. Yes, he had roommates at home at the time of this happening, by the way. The roommate instructed the creator to call 911, and Michaela then performed CPR on the unresponsive man.
I went into Michael Dale's room, and he was laying on the floor, not breathing, and that's when I was like, we need to call 911.
Police arrived at the scene to find Michael unconscious and Michaela performing CPR. According to a police affidavit, she denied placing anything over Mr. Dale's head and told the cops that this was the first time that she had ever engaged in any type of fetish behavior.
That just seems like an outright lie, especially considering the profession she was advertising.
Michael Dale would be rushed to the local hospital, where he was then declared brain dead, and a few days later he was taken off life support and died. The San Diego County Medical Examiner's Office ruled the cause of death to be asphyxia, classifying it as a homicide. However, Michaela wasn't immediately arrested. Initially, the case read to investigators as like a man's BDSM kink request going wrong, almost as if he had asked for this. And while that is, I guess, somewhat true, evidence discovered later seemingly shows Michaela may have taken things a step further than Michael intended. At the time of the incident, Michaela surrendered her phone to police, and over time in their investigation, authorities found a series of troubling videos on Michaela's cell phone, many of which showed Michael Dale visually displaying signs of having trouble breathing, with his hands bound and fingers covered in duct tape, as well as his legs plastic wrapped, making it impossible to remove, any of this material if he really did need to breathe and it was going too far. Some of the videos they found were taken literally minutes before the OnlyFans content creator had dialed 911.
It honestly just goes to show that there is no level of depravity that some of these women cannot reach. If you would like to get early access to videos, weekly lectures, and case study breakdowns of human behavior, make sure you check out the members area link below in the video description. Otherwise, make sure to click on one of these videos on screen now if you enjoyed. Make sure you take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.